everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different and it is actually going to be a review of these Parco 14 pack of gel pens. Before we get started, I'm going to give a disclaimer. This video is not sponsored, but Parco was kind enough to send me these pens for free for an honest review. This will not affect my review or opinion in any way. You are actually going to see this live, firsthand, in person, so if you are gonna hear some dog barking in the background, I sincerely apologize. So let's get to the nitty-gritty detail. This is a 14 pack. They also have it in, I believe, a 14 or an 18 pack friction gel pen style. These claim to dry 3 times faster, which is great because I will be putting it up against the test against a lot of different gel pens that I own. I would have to say right off the bat though, it is not 100% a fair comparison. I do like my gel pens to dry really quickly, but these are 0.7 millimeters. Most of my gel pens are 0.5 or 0.4. I think the best comparison it's going to be against is going to be the Pilot G2 7 millimeters. So I think the best comparison will be against this specific pen, which I have owned and used throughout my entire college career. These are just the new ones I have acquired since I've gotten into bullet journaling. Now, I'm actually going to be trying out these pens on multiple different types of paper. I'm going to try it on regular printer paper. I'm going to try on my fancy paper for my notebook. I'm also going to try it out on sticker paper and the Hobonichi Weeks, which is notorious for smudging. So you guys will have a great view of how this pen actually deal with its claim of 3 times faster. So to let you guys know, they actually do have friction pens as well. I think I mentioned this in the beginning. You guys can find my review on the 5-pack up in the cards or in the description. My good friend Christy Plans also did an extensive review on it pretty recently, so I'll also have it in the cards and in the description. So make sure to check her video out since it's a lot more recent and it has like the full, I believe, 14 or 18 pack of colors. So these pens are going to be tested on multiple different types of paper. It's going to be tested on printer paper, my regular notebook paper, the paper I use for my planner, and also sticker paper along with the Hobonichi Weeks, which is notorious for smudging. So I hope that will give you all a great and extensive opinion on how these pens work to the test. I'm gonna start off with the printer paper first. So this is the printer paper I'll be using. It's just a plain letter size sheet of paper. To make it fair, I will always fold it in half to do my testing, since this one's a little bit on the thinner side. So first we're gonna test out all the colors. I have not used a single one of them, so we will see how they work. So right off the bat, the barrel is very plasticky. The closest one I can compare it to is probably this one, but this one has a much heavier weight to it than this. This still feels kind of lightweight, and I like my pens to have a little bit of a weight to them. So as you can see, the nib is still on. I'm gonna go ahead and remove it, and this is their first color, which is black. A critique that Christy also had was that there's no names on these colors, so it's going to be very difficult to, you know, come up with my own name, but this one is just black, so I'm gonna go ahead and start it. Wow, it is really smooth. I will attest to that. I do think this is very smooth, so I'm gonna do some scribbles, and then this one checks out very nice. Oh, I'll zoom you guys in right now. So as you guys can see, there's no splotting or anything. So let's go on. So I'm just a black pen fan, so this is probably the one I'm going to be reaching out to the most. And then right off the bat, I did a smudge. It's been a couple of seconds, but I'm not sure if you guys can tell. There is a very slight smudging right here. It's nothing super noticeable, but I would say that this is not as fast drying as I would like. But it is also a 7 millimeter, which does tend to smudge a lot more often. Next up, we have the brown. Oof. So let's see. It's very pigmented, which I love. I believe these would have been great when I was in college doing was it physics, because do you guys remember all those graphs you had to draw with like force. I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah, these would have been great to mark all my physics task. Next up we have this teal color. I think this is teal. So, go. The teal also looks fine. Now, the brown had some time to settle. The teal did not. The teal had very, very slight smudging, but nothing that would drive me nuts or crazy. The primary place that smudges are... Oof. The primary place that smudges is the boxes and not really the letters themselves. So that's kind of like my opinion on it. Here's a dark green or a regular green. So the color are kind of true to the barrel, which I like. So green. So far looking pretty good. I am enjoying these pens. There is little to no like resistance. And again, this is on letter paper. Light green. Oh yeah, this is really nice. Ooh, I don't know how to spell. So I'm just writing as how I would normally write any notes I would have. The light green is gorgeous. All right. Here is a dark blue, a color that I would actually also use. Here we go. Blue. The pigments is beautiful. Honestly, I would highly recommend this. I think I forgot to mention it, but I'll have the links to where you can purchase them in the description. I am currently kind of blown away. I wish they came in 5mm. As you guys know, I'm a fan of 5mm. Okay, this is a true blue. Yeah, this is a true blue. This is like the kind of stuff I would love to use to mark people's test. Alright. Except I'm like nowhere near a teacher, so I can't do any of that. Here's a sky blue. So I would say these are a lot easier to like name than the one Christy got, like the pack that she got, because those colors were a little bit more ambiguous. Alright, here we go. Here's a purple. We're getting to more of the fun colors. If you guys don't know, fun colors are usually harder to get a nice pigment. So the fact that the fun colors are looking pretty good is very good to hear. Alright, so this is purple. Still looks really vivid. Like all of these colors are extremely vivid and vibrant, which I love. Except I don't know what I would use these for, to be completely honest. What would you call this one? Like plum? I would call it plum. Yeah, it looks like a plum. And again, I write in like mix of cursive and not, so it writes extremely smooth, which I'm a huge fan of. Right, and then here's the pink. I'm trying to pop it off. So I'm gonna see how this works out. Whoa, that's really, really good. It's not extremely true to color. I would say it's on the lighter side on all of these pens. It looks about a shade or two lighter than what it should be. So this is hot pink. This is great for like the Wednesday. On Wednesday we wear pink spreads. Here is a red. I'm assuming this is going to be a true red, even though this looks very, very like muted on my end. Yeah, so this is a true red. Great for testing if you are... I would say I would recommend these pens if you are into bullet journaling. I think that's what I'm going to use this on. Bullet journaling, or if you are a science student or a science teacher or just a teacher, I think the set is great. This is orange. Again, extremely vibrant colors. Like I'm honestly really blown away. Now the true final test is the yellow. I've never seen a good yellow pen before, so we will have to see how it works, right? So moment of truth, and it is extremely vibrant. Wow, okay. I wouldn't say I would use this for writing because, you know, yellow's kind of like a very light kind of eye-catching color. I would definitely use it to highlight any notes I have. So let me zoom you guys out a little bit so you guys can see all the colors. I'm honestly impressed with the color ranges and how pigmented they are. Like hands down, these are super pigmented. I am not onto the test of smudging yet. This is just purely the test of whether or not the colors are true and pigmented. And I would say it is, and I would give it a 10 out of 10 just on this factor alone. So for pigment and color, great, amazing. Now onto the smudge test. I'm gonna pick a couple of colors because, again, different colors have different formulas and formulations. So I wanna make sure that it works on all of them. So again, Tried and Tested Black. Of course, everybody's going to use it. I'm going to do it with the yellow, the pink, and I want to do it with the dark blue, or maybe the teal. I think the teal might be a better. So I'm going to do it with these colors, and I'm going to do the smudge test now. So for the smudge test, I'm going to go to the back. I have a lot of different types of paper over here, so I'm going to go ahead and show you all what kind of paper I have. This is printer paper. Oh, it's not in focus. Okay. So I'm actually going to label them. This is printer paper. Okay. Now the smudge test will just be me writing hello and swiping it right away. Oh, can you see that? It's smudged. Of course, like no one would ever do this unless you're left-handed. Then I would say it still doesn't fully go to the whole, like, oh, it dries super fast. However, let's make it a little bit more fair. And then this is Parco. Right? Now let's make it more fair and bring out my Pilot G2, which is a very comparable pen, I want to say. So let's write hello. And then, oh yeah, this one smudges a lot more. You guys can see a lot more casting over here. So I would say when you compare these two, this one wins. So next up, we have my tried and true tested these Pentel Energel. It's in 0.5, so I don't think this is a very fair comparison. See, it doesn't smudge at all. So this is the Pen Pilot. Okay, and then we have the Muji pen. This is in 0.5. Yeah, this is in 0.5. And then Muji actually smudges quite comparable to these two. I would say that this is just ever so slightly less, but then it is also a 0.5, so I would still say that if I had the 0.7, I think it would smudge more than the Parco. That's just my opinion. And then we have the Mark On, which is marketed to be fast drying. And again, you can see the difference is that this one is extremely less thick, so then the smudge isn't as apparent, but there is smudging. I would say it would probably be between these two if it was a 0.7 pen. Now lastly, let's do the Sarasa Dry. Sarasa Dry also has a little bit of smudging. I would say that this would be comparable to these two. And the one that did not smudge the most would have to be the Pentel Energel, which I knew, which is one of my go-to pens for no smudges at all. Alright, so that's kind of like the comparison between all of the pens. Again, it's not fair, so the only pen I'm testing from here on out is the G27, which is very affordable and very easy to purchase compared to the other pens. The other pens, I know that you have to go on either Jet Pens or Muji store or something like that. It's a little bit harder to get. This one is a lot more accessible, similarly with the Parco pens. I would not recommend these pens if you are left-handed. As you can see, it does smudge, even though it's supposed to be fast drying. I'm sure if they come out with a 0.5 pen tip, it might be better. But how does it do with the notorious Mildliner? Mildliners actually smudge a lot because they're very, very wet. So let's try this. I'm gonna give them a couple of seconds. So I'm gonna write hello. Very thick. And then I'm gonna do another hello down here. And then I'm going to give them all a couple of seconds to settle and dry, because this is honestly how I use my mile liner. So it's been about 10 seconds. 10 seconds is usually not good enough, by the way. But actually, I'm impressed. It didn't smudge. Do you guys see that? I'm very impressed. Now let's try with the Pilot, and the Pilot definitely smudges. You can see that it's a lot darker right around here. So again, I would have to say that the Parko pen definitely wins on regular printer paper. Next up, we have my very fancy nice paper. It is the premium paper. I'm gonna just call it premium. So it's extremely smooth, but what comes with very smooth paper is smudging. Oh my gosh, I'm actually impressed. It didn't smudge. Usually like my premium paper smudges a lot more than the regular printer paper, but let's test. Again, immediately. Wow, I think I'm gonna start using this pen on this paper. It does not smudge, so I'll give you guys the information on what paper this is. This is the laser paper from, I don't remember the name, but it's a premium 32 pounds, and it's supposed to be really fancy, but I've always struggled with a little bit of smudging in here. So let's try this one. Yeah, you can see that this one also smudged a lot more than this. So I would have to say, again, Parko definitely wins. Let's try hello to be highlighted. Oh crap, I said that I was going to test it out on all these 3 colors, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that in a hot second. So now we're gonna go in and then I'm gonna highlight. Let's see here. Again, I don't really see a huge difference between these two. This one is just mildly darker, so there is a hint of smudging, but overall these two are still comparable. Now I have a sheet of just literally my printer paper. If my camera ever decides to focus again. Okay, great. So this is not printer paper, I apologize. This is my sticker paper. And I have very high hopes for my sticker paper because it's supposed to be pretty absorbent. So let's try it again with hello. So the more absorbent the paper is, the less smudges it'll have. And as you can see here, no smudges with the Parko pen, which is like almost immediately right after I swiped. So again, let's try it with the Penta. Oh wow, that's not. So on sticker paper, this one hands down win. I'm gonna do another test just to make sure. Right, Santa. And then, yeah, so I think the Parko pen wins for sure. Yep. I'm not sure you guys can see that. This pen smudges a lot more on my sticker paper, which is supposed to be premium matte. It absorbs a lot better than a lot of sticker paper. So again, this one I waited about a couple of seconds. Let's try it with highlighted. So I'm gonna write highlight, and again I'm gonna write highlight. And not sure if you guys can notice, I think even though both of them are state that they're 0.7, this one is just very, very lightly thinner than the top one. So it actually should make it a better pen in terms of smudginess than the Parko pen. But anyways, letting that relaxed chill out a little bit, give it another couple of seconds. And then with my mile liner, let's make it straight across. Ooh, alright, you can definitely see that this one had no smudging and this one definitely does have smudging. So again, Parko pen wins when you compare the 2 pens on sticker paper. Last but not least, my planner for the Hobonichi Weeks. If you guys don't know, the Hobonichi Weeks is notorious for smudging. It's the paper that they use and it is extremely easy to smudge on this paper. Let me see if I can flip to some spread. So as you can see, when I was testing things out, there were definitely smudges all over the place. Here we go. And then right here. So honestly, the reason why I don't use the Hopuni 2 Weeks anymore is how badly it smudges. So I'm excited to see how it stands up. I know that for the majority of these pens, the only pen that really withstand it is the Mark Dry, the Sarasa Mark On. So let's go ahead and give it a try. I have no hopes for the G2 to be completely honest, but let's try it. Okay, and then I'm gonna smudge. Ooh, that's really bad. And now we try with the Parco. Let's see. Just gonna write 07 to be a little bit fair. So they both still smudge, but you can see that the Parco smudges significantly less than the Pilot G2. I'm gonna do it again just to make sure that there's no other factors. We're gonna swipe it right away. Yep. And then let's try the Hello. And then, okay, so on the second time around when you swipe it almost immediately, it's similar, but you can tell how long the distance go. So this one actually smudges a tiny bit less, where this one stretches a lot more. That's what I personally think, but let's do a settle test. So let's give it a couple of seconds. 07, and then the Pilot, let's see here, G2. Okay, so I'm gonna give it a couple seconds to settle. And then swipe. So you can see in terms of pigment, the second one picked up a lot more of the black than the first one. So in the Hobonichi itself, both of them are pretty bad, to be completely honest. Like, they're not meant for this river water paper, but the Parco definitely withstands it a lot better. I'm sure if you are careful, you can get away with using the Parco and the G2. I would say more so the Parco pen. Now, time to test if these have similar drying time. So let's say yellow. I feel like the yellow's not gonna smudge. Okay, my fingers are completely dirty, so maybe that wasn't a fair test on these two, so I'm actually going to do it again. And this time on 2 different fingers. I'm gonna do it with this one. You guys can see that. And then let's do it with the 07, and I'm gonna use my ring finger, which is clean. And then for this one, let's see here. This one seems to smudge a little bit more in this case. Wow, okay, so this is very inconsistent. I would say my fingers only got dirty from this specific journal itself. My fingers were pretty clean from the other ones. So, but I do want to make sure that that is fair, so let's try it again on the sticker paper. And then, I don't have any more clean fingers. So again, this one is clean. So since it's clean, I'm going to reuse it. And then 1, 2, 3. And this one smudges. Okay, cool. So I wasn't tripping out. So I don't believe the yellow is going to smudge. So this is my kind of like an all hands test. So as you can see, the yellow does not really smudge. Actually, maybe on camera you can pick it up, but in person I don't really see it as well. Probably because of the lighter pigment, and it's not as vibrant in the person, so it's harder to see. Here's another one, and again, if you look at my fingers, I can't really see it in person if it's a little bit more yellow or not. So let's try teal. And then, so teal again smudges, but definitely not as bad as the other ones, I want to say. As bad as the black. Again, because of the coloration, I believe the darker colors tend to be more inky than the yellow one. So the yellow one's actually what I would consider drier than the black. Not to the point where you really notice, but it's just an observation. So let's do hot pink. Since this is kind of vibrant, I expect that it will not, it would smudge. So let's use this finger. So again, smudges on this paper. So I would say that Hobonichi does not pass the smudge test. But the sticker paper, the paper that I use for my personal planning in my A5, and printer papers all seem to work out very, very well. I'm going to try it again here. So let's try teal. And then, oh, my fingers are dirty now. Teal smudges a little bit versus this one. So you guys can compare the two. This one smudges just ever so lightly more. And now for the pink, I'm just gonna write pink. I think the pink is more wet than the teal actually, so I'm expecting it to smudge a little bit more. So again, here we go. You can see the pink one a lot more vibrantly than the teal. And then here comes the yellow, which I honestly don't expect any real smudging. Yep. So as you guys can see, the yellow has absolutely no smudges at all. Going to repeat the test on here. Teal first. And then I gotta... So again, this specific paper that I use don't have that much smudging. There's very light smudging right here. Then we have the pink. Then again, I'm trying to find like a clean finger. Pink does not smudge, or it does, but very lightly right here. You can see a little stripe. And I'm expecting yellow not to smudge. And then I'm going to have no clean fingers. Again, yellow absorbs pretty quickly because it's a drier formula. Last but not least, the sticker paper, which held on pretty well. So teal, some light smudges. Let's see if you guys can see that. Right, basically where the endpoints are, which is where the ink kind of collects and pulls. So let's try pink. Give it a second. Similarly, where I overlaid a couple of times, there is some slight smudging. And yellow, I'm going to expect spectacular result because it's a drier formula. And again, yellow does not have smudging. So that's basically my extensive review on these pens. And honestly, my opinion is that if you are looking for a set of pens to use for work, if you are a teacher and you're looking for pens to use, I highly recommend these. I think these are great. They will work amazing for whatever your needs are to grade papers. You're never gonna run out of colors and they're fun. If you're a physics student or like a science student or someone who likes to annotate a lot, these pens are great. I would use this as a highlighter. I always annotate my books with colorful pens just because I think it adds a little pop to them. And the fact that they dry decently well on majority of the paper is amazing. Most paper aren't going to be on the, the Hobonichi River Water paper, so it's not going to smudge. Honestly, it passed the test for a lot more paper types than I actually anticipated, so I'm pretty well impressed by these pens. If you are a bullet journaler, I would say that these pens would be a great option for you all if you're just getting started. And yeah, that is basically my review for these pens. I honestly really like this, and I think I'm going to use them in my bullet journal to make a list of all of my planner videos that needs to go out. But I hope you enjoy this video, and if you like it, make sure to check out my other pen review and also Christy's pen review, and I will see you all on, Sunday for a planner with me. Bye!